When I say operating costs, I talk of project costs and generally operating. Once you've chosen to operate at a certain bandwidth, you've got to sell a complete experience and not shortchange the customer. He knows what he's buying. Give him the full 9 yards of what he's set out to buy. The other thing is for people, when you operate at a mid-market and budget level, you've got to create more relationships and alliances with third parties outside your core, whether it's the airlines, whether it's the travel industry, with the shopkeepers, and then make sure that you get an extended program for that buyer with options, whether it's the car hire company, whether it's the airline companies. Mid-market operators and budget operators need to work with their colleagues in the market to create a larger-than-life value proposition.
I'm not sure what Asian brands should do to remain competitive, because being a global brand, I think the Asian operators should be talking to the global brands, because certainly with scale comes the opportunity to harness the power of the brands.
I think this is also something which we at Meritus Hotels and Resorts talk a lot about. We're an Asian company. We're traditionally owner and operator, and we still have that mentality. Firstly, being Asians in Asia, in the Asia environment, we understand Asia better. We understand the specificities and needs of Asian owners. They're not necessarily the same as, Asian asset and hotel owners are not necessarily the same as the more advanced economies, the fund managers and what have you. So when the way they look and analyze issues and numbers and statistics, it's quite different. Now we as Asians understand more the needs, the sensitivities of Asian owners. I think what we have been doing and in the midst of doing is actually to capitalize on the fact that, especially here in Singapore, we are plugged into the international economy in a way that for example, our counterparts in China are still not quite in the stage to do. We can adapt to, for example, online business faster, language, adaptability, awareness, ability to actually master the resources that are available through a better understanding. Not that we're better necessarily than, say, the Chinese, many of our Chinese counterparts, but it's just that maybe we've been at the game longer. We understand how it's gotten to where it is today. China, that's somewhere we all talk about a lot everywhere. They're picking up speed very fast. The gap is closing, but we still have an edge being a Singapore and an Asian company. In a city like Singapore. Capitalize on technology, capitalize on awareness of how the market operates. Simply put, how do we improve the profitability and yield of a hotel asset that we manage vis-a-vis our other competitors, is to actually not just look at cost savings on one end. Of course, being Asians, we are probably a little bit more cost conscious and sensitive. But it's also improving top lines. How you can perhaps sell your room for $1, $2 more, higher than your competitors, higher than a similar category hotel, through harnessing technology, through harnessing channels available to you.
Don't adapt, but adjust to the environment. Look at what your country or what your region's unique selling points are, what you're good at, what people like to do. And use those aspects, starting with maybe an Asian designer, or followed with a type of service that is well known in certain countries, or take advantage of the lower labor costs, or be more innovative and not as much stereotype that international global brands are doing. And there's many examples that they try and copy or emulate what they did somewhere else, but it doesn't work somewhere else. So use that strength, including how to find your customer a different way than they maybe have done in the past. So if you're an Asian-based company, I think that's what you should focus on.
But I think we're seeing a lot of Asian brands now, including on my own, Onyx Hospitality, beginning to be able to compete not only through Asia but beyond the Asian borders. I think, okay, we don't have the size and the distribution that those brands have, but we offer something else, and I think owners of hotels are very responsive to a kind of news story of a regional brand growing into other parts of Asia. So clearly we have to have all the elements that the big hotel companies have, whether it be loyalty programs or people, the right IT structures and the like, and that's a given. We have to have that. But I think most of us do that. And thereafter, I think we can show ourselves to be very responsive, speedier. We're small and therefore by nature very much more flexible. So I think, but there's room for all of us, I would say, especially in Asia as the market grows. There's capability and room for both the big brands who do a fantastic job and our own regional brands as well.